Oh, hi there. Welcome to the KYCAPM show. And if you're watching on Facebook, okay, welcome to the show. You can't see that on radio, and that's probably a good thing. Jason Zenzaletta with you here on this Tuesday, and thank you for joining us last week on the Bob Show. That was always a good one with Bob Recker. Next week, Pat Kirkendall will be in on Tuesday, and of course, 2 weeks from now is what you've all been waiting for, the Panel of All Knowledge. Please don't all laugh at once. But anyway, that's what's coming up, and we want to thank all of you for joining us. And of course, if you're listening and you want to see this a little bit later, you're going to see probably some great looking guys on here, because that's just what we do. We bring some of the best people in Prescott on here. Now you're talking. See, that's what
heavy on the probably.
That's right. Okay, heavy on the probably. Let's go ahead and get started before this hogwash society continues on here. 928-541-1016, and you're going to want to call in and hopefully listen carefully today, because this is a very important show for the Prescott Valley community particularly. We have with us today we have Damon Olson, CEO of the YMCA, the
Yavapai County
YMCA, Dr. Wayne Bennett, who's on the board of directors and is spearheading also the board for the Prescott Valley YMCA. And I will disclose that I am on the board of directors and have been for the last 5.5 years on the YMCA. My term is almost up, and I can go out screaming, I'm free.
You've done such a wonderful job, Doug.
I know. Boy, I've done so little of note there. But you know what? It's been a fantastic experience for myself and for everybody on the board, because not only have we been able to really help bring the Y and continue to grow the YMCA, which has been so important to the area, now we have the opportunity of growing into Prescott Valley. And this is something we've been doing for a long time. And today we're talking about the Prescott Valley effort and where we stand as of today. So first of all, I want to open it up to Damon and to Dr. Wayne, and I can call you doctor, right?
You can call me anything that you can say on the air.
Okay, let's see. Let me go down the list of words I can't say and work those out. And you folks, bring us up to date on where we are with the YMCA in Prescott and the Prescott Valley effort. So go ahead. You got the floor.
Go ahead, Wayne. Why don't you do the historical perspective of the PV project? I'll talk a little bit about Prescott, but
okay.
Or we can do it in reverse order.
Well, yeah. So just going back, probably since my involvement in Prescott Valley predates Damon's,
yes.
Only because he's only been here for now how many years?
14, almost 15.
Is that all?
Only 14.
You're a babe in the woods, I swear.
But the Prescott Valley, or the Prescott YMCA engagement with regard to bringing a Y to Prescott Valley began in the mid-'90s when Larry Tarkowski was the town manager, and there was. They came to the Y board at that time and said, we really need a Y out here. Would you consider it? And that dialogue began. At that time, we were in the remodeling phase of the Prescott Y. The current Prescott Y that you see now, we built and opened in 1999.
Oh, wow.
And, I had the privilege of being involved in that. And then right after that, we had identified in that process that it was absolutely true that there was a desperate need for a Y in Prescott Valley in 1999.
And I want to make the point, in 1999, we were talking about a population in Prescott Valley of perhaps 15,000 people.
Yeah.
They had just gotten the sewers in. Things were just getting paved.
Yeah.
It was growing as a community by leaps and bounds.
And even then, there was a need there. And so we engaged heavily at that time, almost took it home, almost went to the voters. Then there was a surprise termination of a town manager that kind of shut, everything went dark. And since that time, and I won't regale you with all the gory details, but there have been multiple efforts, probably 5 or 6 over the years, until in 2019, Mayor Palguda came to the Y and said, can we get serious about bringing a Y and to Prescott Valley? And we said yes. And so they dragged me out of mothballs because I'd been involved in the previous Y and building the previous Y.
He jumped out of the mothballs.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
And so we got involved. And perhaps the underlying note of all this is throughout it all, it has never been that the YMCA was coming, telling Prescott Valley, we're coming to your community. It has always been because we were invited to the community to see if it's a thing we could do and undertake to make it happen. And now we are 6 years into this project, and we are at a tipping point, a real critical tipping point. And so that's what's going on.
And when we talk about tipping points, literally tomorrow, I mean, that's where we're at. So go ahead, Dave.
Right. Yeah. So the town has formed an exploratory committee to explore, basically two things. One, they know they want a community center. They know they want a Y, but they want to decide what is going to go in it. And so they've talked about, and what they've come up with was indoor pool, fitness center, child watch, where kids gets watched while my mom and dad work out, all day child care, and other fitness amenities and some things like that. And so they've narrowed that scope down. So that's number one. That's what they want in it.
Okay.
Number two, they're trying to figure out what funding source is going to fund it, because when our agreement, which has kind of been suspended right now from 2023, that ended because the folks in PV were saying, hey, we want an indoor pool just like Prescott. We want an indoor pool. And at that time, we did not have a pool in the plan. And it wasn't we, the Y, that pulled it out of the plan. We said, the town says, we can't do that pool right now. And we said, okay, why don't we get this project started, give us some runway, build this membership base, get programs in line, then we bring the pool on later. Everybody said, okay. And then they came back and says, well, we've heard it from the people, and we need a pool in it, an indoor pool, and we need a dedicated funding source to fund this thing. Okay. And so two things. One, what's going to go in the building, what amenities we're going to have, and what is the funding source going to be. And then actually three, their next step would be to go out and talk to the people and sell the project on, people voting for what this is going to be, or voting for the YMCA. And so that's the purpose of this committee. This committee has started in May. The last two meetings that this committee has, because they meet every other week with the exception of last week where they met individually with the Y again, with us again. They had a myriad of questions which we answered every one of them. And so now they're getting to the point of, okay, let's vote on what's going to be in the building and how we're going to fund it. But they've kind of taken it to the, and like Wayne says, we have every time the town stepped up to us and says, hey, we need your help, the Y was there.
Yes.
And so Kel, in 2019, he actually ran his mayoral ticket on, I'm bringing a YMCA to Prescott Valley. Then he called us and said, can we do it? I said, yeah. So we got together with the Fains, and the whole thing is in with Larry. We drew up a whole bunch of documents. And so that's what brings us to this point now. But we've had some folks that are on the committee are kind of surprising us.
Okay.
Because it's not upon their purview to decide who's going to operate it. But they've made it very clear to us, some of them, and I will say the minority, are saying that, well, why does the Y have to operate it? I said, well, y'all invited us multiple times. This YMCA has been serving the Prescott community and area and people in PV for the last 50 years. We've continually added to the amenities of the Y. We continue to serve a whole bunch of people. We have 1,000 people that visit us a day. We're in great financial shape right now to bring on another unit, and yet some people are saying, well, how come it has to be the Y? Why don't we have, just the Parks and Rec do it? And we've outlined things that are very, very, very important to us. Taking care of kids in the community is extremely important to us. The kids that aren't being taken care of, the kids that need the help, the kids that really would benefit from YMCA child care services, the town staff is saying, we don't do that. And we say, okay, that's right, you don't do that. So let's let the professionals do that, because we do that, and we do that very well. But now they're kind of saying, well, if it doesn't have a child care unit in it, well, then I guess then Parks and Rec can run it. And so we're like, whoa, this whole thing is kind of changing, because now you're going down that road. And again, we were invited to help out, and now it feels like we're saying, well, maybe, our guys can run it. And Parks and Rec is fine. I think they do a wonderful job at what they do. The big thing with us is that in the city of Prescott, over the last 25 years, we've had about a $3.5 million budget. $3.5 million a year the YMCA saves the city of Prescott by not having to operate the YMCA, because we get no funding from the city.
Okay.
We have a long-term agreement that we utilize, that we share the gymnasium, and Prescott Parks and Rec does adult sports programming, basketball and volleyball. We do youth sports programming. We get together and talk about what nights they need. It's worked wonderfully. So again, there's another thing that we're showing people, that we know how to work with municipalities. But the thing is, it's like, okay, if the town wants to go out and float whatever bond they want to float, we're here to say, we've been operating things for 50 plus years. This is my 33rd year in the Y, my 15th year here.
Okay.
I've been doing this since 1998 in facility operations.
All right.
And we've done this. So we're going to save you money. And so that message needs to be sent out to the people, because if this thing comes to a point where they're going to have to decide, do we want to do a property tax? Do we want a sales tax? Or maybe you just want to use existing money that the town just might so happen to have.
Okay.
We're here to save you a whole bunch of money and bring professional expertise to the program or to the town, which is exactly what you wanted us to do. So 2 big meetings are coming up. Wayne, do you have something you want to throw in there?
Well,
Dr. Bennett's been fantastic, and it's been this ride for 6 years and a long time.
Well, before you throw it in, I'm going to have to take a break.
Okay.
So we've got our monologues out of the way, and
Okay.
now everything starts. But we want to revisit this when we get
Yep.
back from our break and make sure that we see what's going to happen going forward and see
Okay.
what we can do. So, folks, stay tuned. And if you have any comments, questions, or if you'd like to voice your support for the Y, 928-541-1016. We'd love to hear from you. Right now, we'll take a break. Back after this. Okay, back to the KYCAPM show. Thanks for joining us. 928-541-1016. Would love to talk to you. And if you have any questions about the YMCA, now is your chance. We've got Damon Olson and Dr. Wayne Bennett here from the Y. Okay, so we're talking about the upcoming meeting of
Correct.
the Prescott Valley Parks and Recreation.
It's the Citizens Recreation Advisory Board,
Right.
Advisory Committee. So they have been meeting since the beginning of May. They've looked at venues, they've looked at amenities, they've talked about funding sources, they've talked about all of that. Their next 2 meetings are to discuss what motion they're going to move forward to the council.
Now, this is a recommendation to the council,
correct.
if I understand.
Correct.
It is.
They can't make the final decision. That
cannot.
comes to the council and the mayor. So it's going to be, but a recommendation does carry weight.
Sure.
It is important. So
Sure.
that's coming up.
Yeah, so they're supposed to be deliberating on their recommendation over the next 2 meetings, and the next 2 are tomorrow.
Okay.
And then the following is the 27th.
Okay.
Or the 26th. That's for Wednesdays. So tomorrow Wednesday and the following 2 Wednesdays.
Let's check that calendar.
Let's
Hang on,
double
folks.
check.
We're going to do the.
Damon, I actually believe
Go.
that they're their determination of what their recommendation is going to be is supposed to be the product of tomorrow's
Okay.
meeting,
Go for it.
and then how that recommendation would be articulated and funded, what vehicle, what financial instrument that they would use
Okay.
for a mechanism of funding. I think.
Yeah.
to
13th and the
follow.
27th.
Okay, there we go.
5:30 p.m. Third floor in the Crystal Room at the Prescott Valley Library.
Where the council normally meets, basically.
No, no,
the Crystal Room. Excuse me.
Yeah,
That's
third
right.
floor. Third floor.
Sorry, folks. So there we go. So be sure to be there if you support the Y and find out what's going on in Prescott Valley, because we're getting down to brass tacks here. We want to know, is the Y going to be in charge of this project? Are they going to be a part of this project? Are they going to have anything to do with Prescott Valley at this point? This is a very big thing after several years, and I don't know how many attempts. Wayne, you can probably speak to that, since 2000 or 1998 when all of this really started.
Yeah, 95. I would.
Excuse
say,
me.
I would say probably. At least 6 come to mind right now, and there may have been more.
Mm-hmm.
But if I may, just to encapsulate,
Sure.
the 3 options that I believe, and we are not part of. Dame and I are not part of the committee, but we have attended every meeting,
Well,
so
yes.
we know what's going on.
It seems to me that the committee was formed specifically to talk about this issue, because this is such a big issue for Prescott Valley.
Sure.
Okay, so go ahead.
So my perception of what's going on, having attended those meetings and paid attention, is that there are 3 options. One is going to be presented for the first time before the committee, and it I believe is going to be presented by kind of what we would call the conservative element. Would that be a good way to term? It's to be a very scaled back version of the facility with basically a pool and a few small amenities run by the town. It would not include the YMCA. It would not include childcare. It would not include. It would be a very, affordability is the keynote, I guess you would say, on that.
Okay.
And so that would be one. Nobody knows about that except the people who are putting it together, and it's going to be presented for the first time, which makes us wonder. We question that process a little bit, but
Okay.
be that as it may, the other 2 mainstream options, and I say mainstream because the committee had already decided on the amenity package. They went through a whole process to say, what should this facility consist of, and not surprisingly, their findings aligned virtually identically with the findings of the 2020 Town of Prescott Parks and Recreation Master Plan they had commissioned. They aligned exactly with the multiple studies that the YMCA has conducted. The need is obvious. The priorities are obvious,
Right.
and now they have confirmed that those priorities are obvious. And so the scope of the facility that they have come up with is virtually identical to the facility that we originally presented to the town in 2019.
Okay.
That was the result of all those studies. It's not at all surprising. The only difference in amenity package really boiled down to childcare, but the 2 options would be that package run by the town without childcare, or the YMCA as we proposed it in 2019 with childcare addressing all of those. Those are the 3 that are before us. And
Okay.
so there are a couple of factors. Childcare is one factor that's been an issue.
Yeah.
How important is it? And we feel like it is all important.
I think we've seen that over and over again demonstrated, and more and more
Yes.
in Prescott Valley.
Well, and the problem is we have members on that committee who are what I call child care crisis deniers. There is no child care crisis. There is no need for child care. And when we bring up the studies, it was literally said at the last meeting, I know the study is valid, I just don't believe it.
Okay.
And so there's a mindset there that we don't understand.
All right.
But it's definitely no child care. We go, well, there is going to be child care if there's a YMCA.
Right.
And so that's a critical factor. Another factor is the selection of the site. There are 2 alternative sites that have been put before this committee.
Okay.
One of them being a site that was recently purchased by the town that's across the street from the police department. The town's been eyeing that parcel of land for a number of years, and they were contemplating it for an expansion of judicial stuff, courts and the police department and administrative stuff. It's a good expansion space for that. We do not believe that's a good place to put a family community center.
Probably not.
The alternative site, which is it's Y property now. It's the deed's in our name. There is a clawback clause that goes back to its donor if it doesn't become a Y. But it's ours to give away and build it to make a Y, and it is immediately adjacent to the Bob Edwards Park.
Yep.
And so what we will get with that site is a beautiful community center recreation campus that would be the combination of a YMCA and the Bob Edwards Park, and it's free of charge to the town of Prescott Valley by way of donation through the YMCA.
Why? Fantastic. I mean, that sounds pretty good. Now, the thing is, with this one proposal that you said, this has not been put forward to the council yet.
Correct.
Okay, that it'll be introduced apparently tomorrow, possibly.
Not to the council.
To the committee. Excuse me, to the committee. It'll be introduced tomorrow as a possibility.
It was a written summary was issued about a week ago from its author.
Okay.
And so they've had the opportunity to work through it, as have we.
Okay. I see. I didn't know if that had been in an open meeting or if anything like that had come up yet. So, okay. So the object of the meeting, as you say, is to take a look at the 2, perhaps 3 proposals and to make a recommendation to the board, or the council, excuse me, and then vote the next week in terms of the possible vehicle in order to fund whatever project they decide to do. I got that right?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Now they may also discuss the funding vehicle because the following meeting is really kind of it's the last meeting.
Okay.
And so it's okay. How are we going to articulate this to the public? How's this package going to be put together? It may or may not be the meeting tomorrow may address that sales tax or whatever tax it is that they're talking about. The funding mechanism, as Damon aptly described it. I'm not sure that they'll go into that at that point in time. They may, but the last meeting is to put it all together and articulate it to the council.
Okay. Well, Damon, anything to add after Dr. Wayne has been on the air here for a little bit?
Sorry about
that. No, seriously.
No, we've been partners in crime through this whole thing, so we know we've been living this thing every day. So, we've gotten the word out. We're telling people, hey, if, because myself and Wayne and probably you, Jason, get questions almost daily. Hey, when's that Y going to open?
Yep.
Hey, what's going on with the Prescott Valley Y? And hey, what things are going to be in that Y? And forever and a day, we're like, well, it stopped this time because we got to add this, and then they want that, and so there's been multiple discussions. We got the land. People were excited. We're really excited, and then. We had kind of a curveball thrown at us with the pricing of it, and that was the latest stopping point because they said, well, not only do we want to have an indoor pool, but the cost per square foot that you guys are thinking is not really in the realm of reality for the town right now. That's where the how can we find a funding mechanism came up.
Okay. We're going to break here at the bottom of the hour. Thanks for joining us, and if you've got a question, call us, 928-541-1016, back after And we're back here on the KYCA PM show. Thanks for joining us. 928-541-1016. We're talking Prescott Valley YMCA, question mark, with Damon Olson and Dr. Wayne Bennett of the Prescott YMCA. Damon, you've been CEO out there for, goodness, it's been a few years.
It's been, yeah. I started in 2011, so this is year 15.
Yeah.
For me, and it's been a wonderful ride. It's a wonderful community. We've the last time we talked about Prescott Valley was when Larry Tarkowski this town was going to buy, because Yavapai College was going to sell the annex building right on Panther Path and Glassford Hill Road, and he says, well, we'll buy it. I'll rent it to you for $1, and we'll raise some money and outfit it for a while. And we're like, okay, let's do it. And then that thing didn't happen, and they said, okay, if we're going to make it happen, let's make it happen now. And so this is as far as this project has come.
It's, there's some money raised. There's been a lot of talk about this, and the Fains have donated the land for this, as we said, adjacent to Bob Edwards Park, which makes absolutely perfect sense. It's a beautiful spot, and really town center.
Yeah.
I mean, which is where the Y should be.
No, absolutely. Can you imagine you're like, hey, I want to go meet my friends at the park. We're going to do, 5-6 laps around the park. We'll talk, and we'll go into the Y, get our workout. Our kids are going to go swim. They're going to go get swim lessons. And, oh, by the way, when it's really hot, we're going to have a splash pad out there, going to play. I mean, right in one central area. You cannot do that across the street from the police station. It just does not happen. How about we go meet at the police station, and then we have a cup of coffee, talk about some things, and then walk across the street and go to the Y.
I'll pay my parking ticket.
So it's a different feel altogether.
Yeah. Well, Bob Edwards Park, I'll tell you, honestly, when they built Bob Edwards Park, we looked at this and said, they're building a hole in the ground. But it works.
Yeah,
it's
it
a
actually
beautiful
It does get
park.
used.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a gorgeous park.
I mean, it's a retention basin because it holds a whole bunch of water when it floods, which we need the rain. But if you go by there, it's a lot of activity. A lot of activity.
So tell us let's get back onto the Parks and Recreation Committee, is what we're calling it, correct? And the fact that they are getting ready to make this recommendation. I will say this. We had 2 off-air callers during the break. Unfortunately, they didn't want to talk on the air, but both raised kids with YMCA child care, and both said, quote, let the Y do what they do best.
Amen.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
Amen.
awesome.
So thank you for that. And folks, if you have any questions, 928-541-1016, or if you want to make a comment concerning the YMCA, we'd love to hear from you. So we have the meeting tomorrow night, 5:30, and this is the big one. This is where they're going to be talking about the plans going forward for the town of Prescott Valley, because we have seen towns and communities much smaller than Prescott Valley that were in need. And as you said, Wayne, they've been in need since the population was a quarter of what they are now. And here we are with no Y, and it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And it needs to be the Y taking the forefront of all of this. And again, child care. And to me, as I understand it from my education on the Y board, child care and running a pool successfully are the 2 very big things that a Y can do for a community. So discuss that a little bit. Why is that important?
Go ahead, Wayne.
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to wade into the water, so to speak,
Okay.
of cost and numbers.
Exactly.
Because it's very important for us that this committee, as it deliberates the options that we feel that they have before them, that they get their numbers, they have the numbers right. And having attended the meetings, I'm not sure that all of that has been put together in a cogent way. The town has estimated that if they are going to run that facility, it's going to cost them $2.5 million a year.
Okay.
We have our YMCA, as Damon said, we have a $3.5 million budget. We have strong budget information, and we are confident that $2.5 million is low, significantly low. But let's just use $2.5 million let's use their numbers.
Okay.
That means that over the life of a bond, if there's a bond on this and it's a 30-year bond, which is the most likely scenario, means that the town will have paid $75 million to operate that facility over the life of that bond. They would have paid the YMCA not zero, but a very small stipend per year, probably net. The way we figured it is probably based upon our old plan, the town would pay the Y $500,000 a year. The town is currently paying $400,000 a year for Mountain Valley Splash, whatever that is. So net, they're going to close down that pool, and that money plus another 100,000 would go to the Y to operate the facility, including helping with the pool costs. So $2.5 million a year versus $0.1 million a year times 30 years. It's about $75 million.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big number. But it doesn't stop there. We, as Damon mentioned earlier, we are very convinced, based upon 3 different sets of independent bids from contractors who are really wanting to build our project, that the cost per square foot that we're looking at to build that facility is in the neighborhood of $535 to $540 a square foot. We compared that project to the huge Marana project that just opened, which is a Taj Mahal project compared to what we want to do, and they came in at $544 a square foot. The number that the town is operating on is $1,000 per square foot. We are very confident that instead of the $50 million that's being bandied around, if the Y can use our consultants and do it the Y way, we could absolutely build that building for $10 million less, at $40 million or less than that. So combine that $10 million savings plus the 30 years of interest, which works out to about $7.5 million in interest. The number gets really big. And in fact, if you do all the math, it exceeds $100 million.
And that's on top of what, I mean, that's extra. That's beyond what a Y would have cost.
On top of building the facility itself.
And yeah, including that.
And so we're hopeful that that staggeringly large number is taken into consideration for those of us who are fiscal conservatives, that those of us that believe that, you know, you want to invest wisely in your community. This is a wise investment when you consider $100 million savings over the life of the bond.
Yeah, and the thing that people need to know also is that that's not new. It's not a new thing.
Right.
Like these municipal YMCA partnerships have happened all over the United States, selling tax-exempt bonds to fund the project without a problem at all. So this precedent is like all over the place. And if a lot of municipalities are not entertaining a Y in the beginning, 20 years from now, after all of their stuff depreciates and the thing's not working and they've hemorrhaged a lot of money, that's when they call the Y and say, hey, can you help us out? You know? So, you know, we would rather just introduce or have the community have YMCA program just like they've done in Prescott.
Yeah.
You know, and not have to start over.
Well, you know what the model to base it on. We've got one right here.
We've got a great Y. And we gave the committee a list of 41 municipalities who are partnering and successfully with YMCAs. And of those 41, 13 of them, has been working so well that they've done a second and even a third one.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we're going to see if we can actually get to this second one. And again, tomorrow night's going to be important. So we're going to take a quick break here on KYCA. 928-541-1016. Don't be afraid to call. We'll talk to you, honest. And we'll be back after this. Hey, we're back here on the KYCA PM show, 928-541-1016, talking to Damon Olson and Dr. Wayne Bennett about the YMCA, both on the board of directors. I'm on the board of directors. It's been a lot of fun. They don't listen to me, and that's probably a good thing. I think everybody out there would agree. But anyway, we want to get back to tomorrow's committee meeting, 5:30. Say it again, Crystal Room?
The Crystal Room, which is in the 3rd floor of the Prescott Valley Library.
Okay. Tell us about what we're going to see tomorrow.
Hopefully we're going to be seeing lots of deliberations on what they have in front of them, whether it be the funding mechanism or whether it be the amenities. And so we have a website called supportthepvy.org, and we're getting the word out to everybody. And I went out and got 200 T-shirts. And they look just like this.
Let's see the T-shirt. Here we go.
They look just like this. And Jeffrey Gotro, if you're out there listening, he was the...
open it up. There we go.
He
right in front of your face. Perfect.
Was the design genius behind this. But we are why. You know, the kids and the families and the citizens of Prescott Valley, they are why the why should be there.
Absolutely.
So we have given out a whole bunch of these. And we're just about running out.
Oops.
I've ordered more. I'm hoping they get here in time tomorrow, so that they can get printed, and we have additional to give out. If we do not, if you have ever seen a Pittsburgh Steeler game, Pittsburgh Steeler gold is what you're looking for.
There you
That's
go.
the color.
I wore my I Am Why shirt today in my clinic. And I had more than one patient say, "What are you, a Pittsburgh Steeler fan?"
There we go.
I had to back that one up a little bit. But yeah, this is part of what our concern is, that the voices of the people who really need a why the most are not being heard.
Yeah.
We want those committee members to see the people wearing a T-shirt saying, "I am why you need a YMCA in Prescott Valley." Those voices need to be heard, and that's what we want. We want to encourage people to show up and we'll be there passing out as many T-shirts by golly as we've got.
Okay.
And we want people there to let their voices be heard.
All right. I'll tell you what. We're going to stop real quick. No, we're not going to take a break. Let's bring on a caller. Believe it or not, we've got a caller on line 1. So let's go ahead to line 1. Mr. Blair.
How are you, folks?
Doing good.
How are you?
Hey, Steve.
Yeah, I just want to thank the YMCA and all the things they do. And unfortunately, I hate to hear it, but it's the small squeakers out there that ruin a project. A lot of times when you take public input and your committees are too big, you end up stalemating it where you're at today. From my standpoint, I think, Wayne, you're right. You guys are right to get as many people as you can out there, but generally people live their lives and they're too busy to get involved in it. They rely on people like you folks to do the heavy lifting, and the YMCA has been great for Prescott. And these folks out in Prescott Valley that want to talk about their own personal opinions, we need to do the right thing for the majority of the people and not the minority. And that we seem to have lost focus on.
And I think the YMCA, the big component, the necessary thing out there is child care. And that's what the Y
Absolutely.
excels at.
It's not going to get any easier with the kind of conditions we have in our economy, and with both family members having to work, or single family mothers or fathers having to work. It is essential that the YMCA be a part of the community and run quality programs like they have here in Prescott, Arizona. I can't tell you how many people they have touched here in Prescott, and it would be the same thing in Prescott Valley if they'd let the YMCA do their job.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you,
All
Steve.
right, you guys take care.
You too.
Thanks for calling in, weighing in. Appreciate it. All right. Tell you what, let's take our last break here on KYC. We're going to end with that call, and then we'll come back and wrap things up. The hour just moves, doesn't it? It's amazing. All right, 928-541-1016. Have you or your family been touched by the Y? What kind of experience have you had here in Prescott, and what should the people of Prescott Valley be able to expect? It's important, and it's a question that needs to be answered. The Y has answered that question about what has needed to be done. We're going to explore that a little bit, and feel free to call 928-541-1016 back after this. And we're back here on the KYCA PM show, 928-541-1016. It's YMCA Day, in case you hadn't figured that out by now. Dr. Wayne Bennett and Damon Olson are in here from the Y, and we appreciate you guys coming in. It's all important that you folks showed up today because of tomorrow's meeting. Again, 5:30 in Prescott Valley, and the very future of the Y could be at stake tomorrow night.
It is.
I hate to say that it's that important, but it is. You're right, it is. So we're going to be going to the meeting tomorrow evening. And if we go forward with this so-called proposal that we've heard, that the Prescott Valley is running it, they've already said that there will be no child care component. Is that part of the project?
No.
Okay.
If the facility becomes town operated, the town has already made it clear that and it's not pejorative to say this. It's not really within the typical scope of a Parks and Recs department to run childcare. That's completely understandable, and that's a kind of a tipping point for us because if you're going to have a YMCA, you're going to have childcare. That's just all there is to it.
That's just it. And as I recall when we were talking about this project, and this has just been since I was on the board 5.5 years, overwhelmingly, when you're talking about a community as such as Prescott Valley, childcare is a necessity. And I hate to say that it is underserved in Prescott Valley. Is that kind of what we saw in all of the polling and everything that we took place, the research?
Every study that's been done, NACOG has identified Prescott Valley as a childcare desert. Every study that we've done has demonstrated clearly, and these are studies conducted by us, studies conducted by others, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I mean, these are valid, good, bona fide, large studies, and they're all consistent. But if I might anticipate, I think where you're going to go.
Sure.
What's the next step?
Yes.
And the next step, if it's go with the Y, it's easy peasy, because the original proposal that we presented to the town of Prescott Valley in 2019, after hiring a Grow Development, a company that's design and architecture, all I do is YMCA's. They've done over 600 YMCA's. They're who we used, and we presented a proposal to the council that they voted on and approved for a full YMCA with a pool, indoor pool facility and childcare. So all we would need to do, we have an existing management agreement with the town that is on suspension pending all this work. All we would have to do is to go back to that management agreement and take the original design that we submitted, that we took the pool away from, and put that into our management agreement and just reconfigure our current management agreement. It would be a real straightforward process.
All right. So when we're talking about municipal participation with the YMCA, this has happened quite a bit. And we are talking about bond issues and other things like that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So this is nothing new. This is not groundbreaking. This is standard operating procedure.
Yeah, the couple of things, one of them I mentioned before, and that is that they may want to use existing money, that we believe they have existing money to do it. The town manager thinks they'd just be squeezed pretty tight if they use it to do it. That's why we went after the additional funding mechanism. They've talked about an additional tax on property, a secondary property tax at a certain level, and I can't remember what that number was. People were wary of that one because that's been a challenge getting any kind of property tax passed. But there's also on the table is a sales tax, where everybody who is in Prescott Valley that purchases anything, and I think there are some exclusions, might be cars and it might be some other large ticket items, but that everybody kind of pitches in, and that money goes to the town to help build and operate the facility,
including tourism.
Correct.
Tourism,
oh yes,
sales tax.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So those are three of the options that I think that they're talking about. And again, when you say what do we expect to see the next meeting, deliberation is what we're hoping to see when they're deliberating about what facility and in hearing every voice that's on that committee. Sometimes committees get bogged down with people that tend to be the louder voices, but all voices need to be heard. So that's what we're hoping to see tomorrow. And then we're hoping that they come to an agreement that, it makes too much sense to have a YMCA next to an existing park, where that would be the hub of recreation services in the town of Prescott Valley, and that they see to it that the professionals that have been doing this for a long time are the people that are the ones operating it. Between myself and my existing staff, we have 60-plus years of combined experience in operating YMCAs. I'm not sure they have that there, and I like the Parks and Rec staff over in Prescott Valley. I do. But I'm sure that they don't have as much experience as we do.
It's true. And it's not an easy thing, for example, to run a pool or childcare for that matter. Childcare, there is so many things and aspects that are necessary.
Yes, there are rules, there are laws, and that you have to follow every one of them. So yes, it's not a dull job.
I'm sure.
It's never dull. And I recall, Jason, this is what I'm going to talk about you for a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Because way back when you started and were introduced or interested in becoming a member of the board member of the Y,
Right.
and Wayne and I were the ones that interviewed you in my office during COVID. Everyone's wearing masks. I said, Jason, why do you want to be a part of the board of directors of the YMCA? He says, I want to see a YMCA in Prescott Valley.
That was my motivation.
Yeah.
And I think we tried to do our best and work hard to do that, or at least free up people to be able to do that.
Sure.
And I hope that we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, we
I
appreciate
think
your
we have.
support.
And I think we have. But it's now, sometimes it gets out of our control just a little bit. And although we have a very good plan, I think, for the Y to go forward, and yeah, the pool is absolutely important,
Sure,
and all that.
no doubt about it.
It still is up to the town and to the people that they have elected, and that we still have a few steps to go at least.
Oh, for sure.
Tomorrow night and then beyond that. So again, 5:30 tomorrow evening.
Yep.
Let's see. The meeting starts at 5:30. Crystal Room, 3rd floor.
Yeah, and
Prescott Valley
let's get our
Library.
people. Let's get our people there early.
Yeah.
let's have people show up early. Not only if you don't have a T-shirt, but to get a T-shirt, but also be in the room. And if you see people that you know on the committee, talk to them.
Yeah.
It's okay to do that. Let your voices be heard. It's their job to hear from you. And so be there early. Don't walk in when the meeting starts. You've lost a wonderful opportunity if you do that.
Yep. I'll be throwing my business card at all of them and saying, hey, why not? Why not? You know. So I guess the big thing is, let's say perfect world, everything passes through, we get through the town council. Is there any kind of anticipation in terms of getting the building off the ground? Next year after? It all depends on the mechanism, I guess, that the town wants to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing is, if it goes the route of a bond, I think they said during the meetings, is what I heard anyway, is that bond election would not go on until November 2026.
Okay.
Would be the election for that.
And that's a big election too.
Yeah,
There's,
huge one. And if that passes, well, then there's I believe a year design phase, and then 18 months after. 18 months is about the build phase. So
Wow.
it's a little while. It's a little ways off. But, I mean, you can't move forward if you don't pass these things. So
Exactly. I mean, and we're so far along now after all the work that has been put
years
in
and years.
by the Prescott Valley committees. And Wayne, you can speak to the past committees that have built to this point. Let's face it, it wasn't futile. It was important work to take that step. We just wish we could have taken the step earlier and gotten things done years ago.
Yep.
But this is where we are now.
Yep.
And so if we're going to have a Y in the very near future, it's got to get started today and tomorrow, for that matter.
Yeah, and for many of us, you and me included, this isn't about our benefit.
No.
This is about the benefit of the future generations.
And that's so important in the area these days. We're always looking to the future, at least we should be, and benefiting future generations, even though they might not be our generations. They may not be our kids. Okay, well, darn it, we're at the end of the hour. It just flies by, I tell you.
Yep.
Damon and Wayne, thank you for coming in. We'll see you again tomorrow night, and we want to hear what has happened, okay? We'll keep you up to date.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you, folks, for joining in. Of course, if you want to view the video, you're welcome to. It'll be in the archives. Otherwise, thank you for joining us. We'll see you again soon.